나서는 끊어낼 때는 내가 정해 멈추지 마. 더 생각해. 생각하면 돼. 진실과 정의를 구분해. 멈추지 마. 더 생각해. 끝이는 없어. 그리는 대로 바라는 대로 주어질 나서야 감각해. 깨지지 않게 저 끝까지 꺾이지 않게. 도망치고 싶을 땐 기억해. 사고를 멈춘 사람과 그 뒤를 밟는 일. 똑같은 패턴을 방향이 무슨 의미가 있나. Whatever 저 편을 찾아. 죽음에 나서는 끊어 비로소 찾아낼 자유. 무엇의 가치를 부여할지도 내 관할이야. 멈추지 마. 더 생각해. 생각하면 돼. 진실과 정의를 구분해. 멈추지 마. 더 생각해. 끝이는 없어. 그리는 대로 바라는 대로 주어질 나서야 할 뿐이니. 멈출 수 없어. 이대로 머무르면 죽은 것이나 똑같잖아. 자라나버린 내 세상이 실망스러워. 허탈해져. 멈출 수 없어. Focus. 멈추지 마. 더 생각해. 생각하면 돼. 진실과 정의를 구분해. 멈추지 마. 더 생각해. 끝이는 없어. 그리는 대로 바라는 대로 주어질 나서야 할 뿐이니. 감각해. 깨지지 않게 저 끝까지 꺾이지 않게.
Good evening and welcome back to Dwarf Fortress, where we haven't loaded up our game yet, so who knows where we are, because, well, we haven't seen this bit of the user interface yet. Actually, I've cheated slightly. So it appears that I have a single save, or a single world, which has a single save, which is for my fortress Keska Locale, which is a much better name than the English shoot test. So let us load that up and see where we are. Well, I think that's as opposed to, like, I think Dwarf Fortress may finally have a sensible system for adding mods to it rather than, well, just edit some text files, it'll be fine. So, here is our fortress. We founded this fortress last session, so it's been running for, it's late spring now, so it's been running for a couple of months in game time. I still don't know how the keyboard works, but here's our the environment we're in. We're on the edge of, well, what's meant to be a bay, but looking at it, it appears to be almost entirely isolated from the ocean. Like
sort of mini Mediterranean stuff.
Yeah, like maybe there's a connection. Let's go down a level. No, I think our alleged bay is actually a lagoon. Like on the world map, it was a bay, but on this map, it's blatantly a lagoon. Anyway, it still gets ocean waves coming in, so presumably those can make it across the sandbank somehow. Anyway, and we have a couple of rivers. Oh no, that's the wrong button. A couple of rivers, one here, one over on the west here, and one to the south that drain into the lagoon. We have a couple of murky pools. Then we're on the boundary between some like shrubland and something a bit more desert. There's basically no. It's officially Badlands, I think. There's no vegetation west of this line, and then the coast is all rocky shale, which is kind of interesting. Because one might have thought that the coast would be softer material than inland, but in fact, the coast is what's kind of keeping the lagoon from just wiping out these forests. Looks like. So my fortress then isn't very big at the moment because we've still only got the default 7 dwarves. So we essentially have. I started opening it up over here in the loam of the Badlands, and we've shifted all of our rubbish in there. And then, but then I thought it would be better to actually dig out the bedrooms and such in rock somewhere over here because that will make the dwarves happier. And so we've dug out the actual bedrooms and what will probably become a dining. Well, it's currently a dining room up here in the rocky bit on the edge of the sea. And an interesting thing is we have an awful lot of economic stone around. I think this is a change in the new version, at least in the default world generation rules, world generation settings, where by default you have a very large amount of useful minerals in the world, which means that like we know there is iron. But I say we know there is iron ore here. We know there's iron ore here because it's like there. No, that's cinnabar. There, limonite. So like we have iron ore close to the surface. We have a copper ore. We also have some more interesting things like somewhere down here we've got some bituminous coal. We've got some lignite as well. And indeed what we're currently digging through is a quantity of kaolinite, which we could turn into porcelain. And I've never had a porcelain industry, so I think we might try that. So what are we doing? What we are doing at the moment, we've got 7 bedrooms, which is more than adequate. We've got a dining room with a decent quantity of furniture in it. So everyone is currently smoothing the walls of the dining room in order to make it a higher value dining room. At least that worked in older versions. I don't know if that's quite what we want here. We are, on the other hand, starting to run short of meat. We've still got plenty of food and drink in general, but it feels like probably if we're going to have a dining room, we should probably also have some kitchens and somewhere to store booze near or even in the dining room. Because that way when people are drinking, they will be close to they will be able to socialise and they will be able to admire the dining room, which will probably make them happy. Everyone is ludicrously happy anyway. The new version has this nice happiness histogram of your dwarfen fortress, which tells me that everyone is happy. So yes, I haven't looked much at the stocks menu. There's also an argument that we should, well, by histogram I really mean list of numbers. Look, that's usefully a histogram. 0004340. Look, it has working scroll bars and things. So, yes, we have a bunch of stuff here that will tell me what we've got in the fortress, and in particular our food and drink stocks. So curiously, this will actually list for me all of the drink stocks. It's only doing addition that we need a bookkeeper for. So I do worry about tilde. 20 barrels, but of course drink is in the barrels. Do we have a separate drinks section? Yes, there it is. Right. Which can't be scrolled. We only have rum and wine. Thank you, Dr. Swirly. So we have quite a lot of wood, but we're going to want to switch to using coal to make things. So I think I want to try to establish some kind of cooking arrangement and booze storage arrangement. So probably what I should do is mark out some of the south half of this dining room for booze storage for now. And then I think we should probably have a separate section with doors connecting it up that will be where we cook food. And then we could possibly have a prepared meals stockpile out here as well. So let's go for, where is the button for this? It's that one, isn't it? Yes. That's still P. Right, so if we were to mark out, say, that area, how do you do this? I don't want to click in it, I want to add. Right, that's the button. Click in the play area to paint a stockpile. If we say that, and what we want is a food stockpile, but actually a customized food stockpile. So I think we have to say custom. And then it defaults to a food stockpile, but we're then going to say no prepared meals, no meat, no fish, actually just no food at all, except then we want to add drink, all kinds of drink. See, the user interface still has some terrible bits of design in it. All kinds of mead. Not that I think you can make mead. I think it's quite hard to make bumblebee mead because it's quite hard to tame bumblebees. But nothing else. Right, that looks good. Those should both be on. How many barrels? All the barrels. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So that's now got somewhere to put booze. Now let's make another stockpile of essentially the same size, which will again be a kind of food stockpile, but will just take prepared meals. Will otherwise be the same, so should similarly allow all the barrels. Right, we have no prepared meals at the moment, but the next thing I want to do is to dig out an area, say here, and we will stick a kitchen in there and a stockpile of food that is waiting to be prepared, and we'll see how that goes. So yes, let's do that first. Then another thing I would like to do is to make some, is to sort out a new area for putting workshops in, a kind of place for hot workshops like kilns and furnaces and such like, that will be fueled by various kinds of coal. And actually we're going to want to make some, I'm sure smoothing that cinnabar wall is perfectly safe. We're going to want to make some, at least some charcoal, because you need some charcoal to bootstrap your coke making industry. So I presume everyone's going to get bored with smoothing those walls soon and do something else.
I mean, the dwarves, anything can happen.
So we could actually build like a wood burner out here, though we don't want to make very much charcoal really, because we'd quite like to burn coal instead, if we can find it. Oh, we've got cassiterite as well, which is quite fun. You can glaze things with that. I was thinking, since we had cassiterite and tetrahedrite, we might want to make bronze, but I'm like, yeah, but we've got iron. Why would we bother with bronze? That's magnetite. Useless bauxite, bituminous coal. I've forgotten quite where we had the lignite. I'm sure it was around somewhere and was like slightly easier to get to than the bituminous coal, but I have apparently lost the lignite. Doesn't help that I can't remember what it looks like. No, it's probably kind of greyish. Got some jet there, but I don't think you can use that as fuel, sadly, even though it is technically a kind of coal. Saltpeter, I don't think we actually have any use for saltpeter, sadly. Obviously what Dwarf Fortress needs is explosives. Now, lost the lignite entirely. Well, I'm sure it'll turn up. What's everyone up to now? So opening that pauses things. Everyone's going to eat. Okay, are you going to eat in the dining room at least? Yes, someone is taking a plump helmet over to the dining room to eat it. Except everyone's eating and we haven't got enough tables for everyone to eat at the same time.
Oops.
2 people sitting at tables. 3 people sitting at tables. 2 more people coming along with their plump helmets wishing they had somewhere to eat them. Oh, there's a free table already. 2 free tables. Actually, people eat so quickly, dwarves eat so quickly that there's enough time to for several sittings of dinner. Even even if we don't actually have enough tables. Right. So now I should be able to go workshops, farming, kitchen, select material, well, let's just make it out of wood for now. Right, so, oh, we're going to need a couple of doors. How are we off for doors? Do I need to make more doors? No, I need to make more doors. That's, let's make some stone doors then. Add task, door, add task, door. Let's make a couple of spares as well. Oh, except one thing I do need to do, the reason why we don't have a stock of spare doors is that no, we are currently things are set up. It is now summer. Okay, thank you. That's a very helpful announcement. I've accidentally.
Dwarves do occasionally do something above ground and might care.
Yes. I've lost the train of thought I had now. Oh yes, is because gypsum is currently marked as an economic stone and therefore not used for building, not used for like just randomly making stuff out of stone. But gypsum's only use is to make plaster, whose only use is to help with broken bones, and like we can splint them instead. So my current assumption is that we don't actually need to save our gypsum for anything, and now I just have to remember how. There it is, stone use, how we change this. So we want to find gypsum in this list and mark it as may be used for non-economic jobs, which I've just done. So now we should be able to make some gypsum doors.
I wouldn't want to make doors out of gypsum. I mean, I don't think they're very...
Hey, gypsum's what plasterboard's made out of. We make perfectly cromulent doors out of plasterboard. Well, okay, slightly cromulent doors out of plasterboard.
I mean...
Right, here comes someone to build the kitchen. And someone is hauling some stone off to make a door out of it. Indeed, specifically some gypsum off to make a door out of it. Right, now let's put in a stockpile for food that is not drink or prepared meals. Or seeds. I mean, I'd like to say no tallow. Can we do that now? I go tallow and then click none. And then delete tallow. Oh, hooray! We can actually say, please don't put tallow in here by cunning means that don't involve going through this enormous list and deselecting every kind of tallow. I'm slightly concerned about having misc liquid in there as well. Let's remove that and all of that. Let's not cook with 15 different kinds of venom. Well, actually, milk might not be so bad. Let's just remove venom.
White devil extract doesn't 100% sound...
I'm sure it's fine. I suspect it's like vanilla extract. Right, okay, well that's some kind of thing. And then we can set this up. To take from that stockpile. I'm just wondering if there's anything else I need to do. I don't think so. No, I didn't mean that button. Happily, that button didn't seem to do anything. Oh, probably because I need to click done there first. Right. Okay, so that kitchen will now only take food from the main food stockpile. So now my hope is that people will start shifting food in there, except of course that by default they won't, because this stockpile is also a perfectly good place to put food. So what we should do now is mark that stockpile as take from that stockpile. Those arrows look the wrong way round to me, but I think that's correct. And set that that stockpile to take from that stockpile. So that now means that the food, that the non-prepared food stockpiles should now take from. Let's give these some slightly better names as well. Don't know why the edit thing has a musical note. Oh, maybe it's because I'm noting something.
I think it's a dustpan and brush. It's the icon that tears it.
Oh, maybe.
I've seen a dustpan and brush used in that position before.
Yes.
It took me a long time to work out what it was, and that was with proper pixels. So now I'm sharing my hard-earned experience.
But it doesn't, because it just puts the cursor at the end. Right, so yes, now those actually have better names. And like if I choose that and look at its takes, it takes from the ingredient stockpile, which is obviously sensible. Doesn't need to explicitly give to the prepared meal stockpile. I think they'll go there anyway. I mean, they might end up over there, I suppose, in unfortunate circumstances. But like that's better than throwing them away. Right, so maybe now people will start moving. Yes. Well, at least everyone started doing something. Okay, no, they're actually going to sow seeds in the Plump Helmet farm down below. Well, when you've quite finished doing that, what are you up to now? Now actually storing things in the various stockpiles. Good. So that will make things a bit happier. And then, well, we can start adding tasks to make meals. Our woodworker is thirsty, right? Yes. Right, we're hoping to get people to be able to start having good meals soon. I'd like to get all the food into the stockpile before we start, though. It appears to be putting empty barrels in that stockpile, which isn't very helpful. So I don't seem to be able... Oh, I can slightly change the type of that. Now I've probably converted it into a none stockpile, which is no good at all. And now everything's back to wonkified. Well, this at least is an easy stockpile to reset because I just do that. The question is, why is it storing empty barrels? As I recall, there used to be like a weird little option somewhere for store empty barrels in this stockpile. Doesn't seem to be an option for it at the moment. Oh well. That will probably, changing that stockpile type twice will probably have confused everyone. We have fish in a barrel, ready shot.
I don't believe that. I think dwarves, even dwarves, know that you don't catch fish by the same techniques you catch land prey. That's why there's a separate fisher dwarf skill.
Yes, indeed. They don't actually shoot fish for the most part. Right, so now we should be able to set a prepare lavish meal job going. Probably, usually my approach is to have like 1 or 2 designated cooks. So is there a... This allows me to like look up work details but not actually easily find out what's in the said work detail. Wonder how I do that. I mean, there doesn't seem to be in here any thing for like operating workshops. Ah, is that the... Ah, that controls the tasks. Okay, can I... Oh, that was the wrong button. Right, so if I click that, that tells me what things are part of the hunter, or are assigned to the hunters group. There's like an extra level of indirection here that we didn't have in older dwarf fortresses. In older ones, you essentially directly assigned individual labours to individual dwarves, which was tedious. So we could now add a new group, cooks. Why isn't it labelled there? That would be helpful. Which contains so it contain brewing as well as cooking. Why is there an unmarked red box up there? Let's check, did that do the trick? Yes. And probably for safety, we should not cook various, should generally avoid cooking drink because it's better drunk. We're going to want slightly more ingredients because otherwise everything's going to be made out of prepared pig lung, cave fish and plump helmets. Oops. So we could bravely allow some dwarves to go fishing by the sea. It seems like it's not a bad idea. Just need to remember how we do it. I think we just go labour, fisher dwarves, which is currently set to nobody does this. Allow our fisher dwarf to fish. Oh, but fish require fish cleaning, of course. You do actually need a bit of industry for fishing. Well, let's set that up then. Fish cleaning is particularly prone to causing disastrous rot. Let's do it up here then. So can we create a fishery? And then have a stockpile next to it. Which will take, it's probably a kind of food, but let's, unprepared fish. Right, so that way, if our fisher dwarves fish, we will have somewhere to put the fish, and it can even be processed. And then it should get hauled over to here to be cooked. Someone is trying to do some cooking already. It's my miner. That's probably not the best person. Maybe I should actually, in addition to defining the labour, assign someone to it. It's currently set to everyone does this. Let's go for having my planter and my probably not doing very much woodworker also allowed to cook. The miner will probably finish off cooking this first meal though. Meanwhile, no, that's not how you build a door anymore, is it? It's BPR rather than the rather more obvious BD. We've got plenty of gypsum doors. Right. So we'll stick some doors on the kitchens so that they, any disastrous rot that happens in there gets contained and doesn't spread to cover the entire dining hall. So our miner is now spare again, so we could sort out somewhere for hot crafts to happen. Thank you. Claire suggests that this stands for build partition rotating, which might be correct. So this is going to be like, I think there's not much need especially if we're going to get our coal underground. There's not much need for the hot works to be near the surface. So I think we should actually deliberately head downwards and maybe even put them near the bituminous coal. So I kind of set up for a main staircase over there, which is clearly silly when I'm actually building most of the fortress over here. So let's send a staircase down here in this like little notch between these rooms. We'll run it down to that level for now. Let's make a couple more. Oops, no. Let's make a couple more stone doors. And that way we can put in we can put them in, put two in here to separate off the oh, we should tell that stockpile do I have to do it by, still don't understand under what circumstances I can customize the contents for stockpile. We should have that not take most economic stone, except of course for gypsum, because we treat gypsum as a non-economic stone. We should say don't put any kind of clay in there, that's of no use at all, and don't put any metal ores in there, because this is stone for doing stuff with, for making stone things out of. So we're an awfully long way away from the bituminous coal. I've gone down too far. So let's now dig a nice tunnel up there. It's an awful lot of digging. Oh well. I've struck microcline, how exciting. There's nothing to catch in the southern swamps, that's not hopeful. I understand there is some horrible bug involving it turning out there are no fish.
Unfortunately, you carefully organised an entire fish industry.
Well, I've minimally set up a fish industry. So do we have a separate unprepared fish section in here, or is it all under fish? Oh, it's called raw fish here, and we don't have any at the moment, right. Well, let's leave our fisher dwarf to see if they can find anything to fish. You have a surprising amount of clay down here. You have struck bituminous coal. Okay, excellent. We have coal all the way down here. So maybe we should start mining out. Let's blank that lot and say instead that we'll have an area down here that is the hot workshop area. Actually, can I now say mine that bituminous coal? Dig only ore and gems selected, and auto mine any ore and gems of the same type. That's the one we want. Right, so that way we'll chase that coal vein. That will then give us a reasonably open area, and we can then enlarge it a bit to provide somewhere for only apparently it doesn't. Apparently bituminous coal is not so exciting that we can actually auto mine it. How annoying, because it's not technically an ore, I suppose. That's kind of weird because it can be selected. Just newly revealed bits of bituminous coal don't become mineable. Oh, but those bits did. What? I don't understand you. Or are these, is it weirdly getting confused by the fact that some of these are not officially part of the same vein? I don't quite understand. It's being weird. Oh well. This is at least simpler than doing it by hand. Oh, what have we struck now? We've struck Cinnabar. How very helpful. I mean, that would be an excellent way of killing dwarves if they weren't apparently resistant to mercury poisoning. So this is a nice long vein just to annoy us. Have we struck Cinnabar again? No, we've struck Hematite. Right, well that's obviously a good place to build our... Let's mine out a reasonably large rectangular area up there. Something like that. Oops. Meanwhile, let's see what's going on elsewhere. So, have we managed any fish yet? No. Is anyone actually fishing? No. Indeed, quite a lot of people are doing nothing at all. Oh, we should probably actually have facilities for making booze as well, shouldn't we? You could also, does it look like there's anything worth... We've got apricot trees. So we really ought to be able to gather apricots at suitable times of year. So we can mark areas as plant gathering. That seems to just say we should get things from ground-based plants. I wonder how you gather fruit from trees. I think it's possible, though of course at this time of year the apricots probably don't actually have fruit. You get persimmons and cherries as well.
You know, along the circumstances, I'd be like, yeah, picking fruit is easy, but like, dwarves are short, and I can just force
They have stepladder technology.
Hooray! I can't think that dwarves
Where is it?
can
There.
use stepladder
Stepladder.
without falling off them.
Critical part of fruit gathering. I can remember that bit.
Hooray!
However, everyone is actually out there gathering other things. So let's also build a quick wood furnace out here, solely for the purpose of making a tiny amount of charcoal. Maybe I should have made it closer to the stone, since it apparently has to be made out of stone. And then we can start making, we can use that. You've struck hematite, that's nice. Oh, some migrants have arrived. Right. Maybe I should just look at our list of population rather than trying to find them on the map. I'm sure they're... Oh, there they are. Oh, they're on the wrong side of the river. That's not very helpful. Or at least one of them has arrived. Yes, that's the correct number to have arrived so far. And he's probably confused because he can't work out how to get across the river. Right. Actually, isn't there a route? Doesn't that river turn out not to join up to the sea? Yeah, there's a perfectly good way to go deal with that. You go round by the coast. You don't need to worry. I'm sure your route planning will sort itself out in a moment. There you go. So we have a new hunter. So how does these new people end up here? I mean, we've disabled hunting at the moment. So, or rather, we have no designated hunters. I seem to have done something different there. Since he's a new arrival, okay, we can actually say he should go hunting and see what happens. You have an engraver, High Master Engraver. Wow, I could do without all those creatures and that tangled greenery. So what can we find out about him? He hasn't had any recent thoughts. Oh, she hasn't had any recent thoughts. Does not mind being outdoors, at least for a time. That suggests we should probably stop everyone else engraving if we've got a High Master Engraver. We've already got things set up, so not many people engrave. Okay, allegedly. Does that include... what's... No, stone... Yeah, what's the difference between stone carving and stone engraving and... So we should probably put our new High Master Engraver as an engraver. Right, we appear to have a completely useless set as current engravers. Let's actually set those people with engraving skill to be engravers. Swarm of mosquitoes. Right, we have someone who claims to be a herbalist, but they could do almost anything. Anyone else turning up? Why are you lot standing around at the edge of the map? Oh yes, I did have one idea, which is I think I need to mark our dining room as also a meeting area, because otherwise people won't actually go there to meet. Oh, I think that was a noise of something going bink on Mastodon. And someone said, oh, I'm watching your stream or something. Anyway, overlapping area. Yeah, that's perfectly safe, I think. Ah, Seb says, that was just me. Right, unpause. Damp stone located.
Uh-oh.
It should be safe.
Only slight danger.
Oh right, I think that's because there's water above, which is like kind of safe. But maybe we won't risk it because like we've got plenty of space.
Damp stone was created by the melting of pumice.
Thank you. Right, so we've got a reasonable amount of space down here, so we could... See, one thing I remember it being useful to do is to make some stone blocks for making workshops out of, so let's do some of that. Because they're lighter and easier to build things of than boulders. And we should get the pile of kaolinite out of the way of there because it's no use there. Right, so we've got some blocks now. Let's now assume that gypsum is magma safe, not magma safe, fire safe.
We're not yet cooking with magma.
No. Build a it's over there, isn't it? A smelter down here. No, don't make it out of shale, you idiot. Can't we make it out of blocks? Apparently we can't. That's odd. Well, we'll make it out of shale. Maybe gypsum isn't fire safe. It probably isn't, actually. Oh well, there's plenty of shale right down here, so it should be fine. Meanwhile, somewhere on the surface, we should now have... All right, the wood furnace is still being constructed. Seem to have a quantity of extra goats that we didn't have before, which might be useful. We can probably eat them. So we can watch the person building the smelter. Who is our expedition leader, Feb Alothiton, or something like that. Who is admittedly mostly shifting stuff out of the way of this smelter. So right now we have a smelter, which is of no use because we don't have any charcoal yet. How do I stop following them? Possibly I just move the camera. Yes, that's right. But our wood furnace is now made, so we could quickly make a bit of charcoal. Sometimes has in its vicinity otters. Currently it has giant thrips. Lots of lovely giant thrips. What are those colons in the water then? There's just the sea being the sea. Oh, we don't, yeah, actually, maybe I should start sorting out some offices for my staff so that we can start having like a manager, which would allow for me to do some more interesting things with like work orders and such. Because I think we made one batch of prepared meals. Actually, let's look at our stocks and see what we have by way of prepared meals, given that we made some prepared meals. Yes, we have a bunch of cave fish roasts, which in the standard Dwarf Fortress fashion are entirely minced. They seem to have ended up stored in the wrong stockpile, because I would like them to be in the prepared food stockpile. Well, let's tell that stockpile to take from that stockpile and see if if they get moved. Someone has dropped some grapes and some cranberries in here, so we're collecting fruit. Possibly we now want to start thinking about a booze industry then. Let's enlarge.
I'm sure booze industry is a band.
Let's enlarge that room a bit. And also, yeah, let's go for digging out some all right, is that down at there? Yes. Let us be a bit cautious in our mining for now. I think it is actually safe, but in that I think doesn't feel like it quite matches up with the where the dampness is on the floor above. Okay, let's be cautious. Like possibly we should arrange an escape route before we start digging into this area with more enthusiasm. Oops. So now we could.
You're so frightened of this damp rock. One might say you're all aquifer.
Thank you. I mean, I think we only have a light aquifer here, so I think we're not actually in any danger of immediate catastrophic death if I make a mistake. Like, I think we can see all of the sea, so I think there's no danger.
And all of the sea can't see you. No.
There's no danger that we'll accidentally let the sea into the fortress, which is obviously a particularly bad thing to do. So now can I set up okay, we need to make some more chairs. If I'm going to create an office, and I generally like to have a table in an office as well.
I saw a very silly picture on Mastodon. Showed a sculpture in a garden, and the comment was "dog for scale," which would be fine if the dog were not a great deal closer to the camera than the sculpture, and therefore very useless to scale.
Also, dogs come in very, very wide-ranging sizes, so unless
Although
you
the big and
can
small dogs are often recognisable.
yes, but unless you can sort of recognise the breed.
So, just wondering, do we have... Right, we have some charcoal, which should now mean that we can add make coke from bituminous coal jobs until such time as we run out of bituminous coal, and add and make coke from lignite jobs until we run out of lignite.
And you say, overwrite this one control C, overwrite this one control C, overwrite this one control, it goes to all of them. As though it's therefore that your control C at each one of the whole thing. Can't remember how that.
What are you doing? People are still going and eating the wrong things. Like, eat prepared meals, they're better for you. We should probably prepare some more meals on that note. Also, we want to build a still. Oh, we can build that out of gypsum. So yes, I think there is the problem that gypsum is not fire safe.
You can do some very exciting things there. Can be very useful if I recall correctly.
There are some fish. Let's catch some hake. No one actually appears to be going fishing. My fisher dwarf has got distracted by building a still.
They're just going to fake it till they hack it.
Yes, thank you. Now is my fisher dwarf going fishing? No, they're still building the still. Unpause, things will happen faster then. Now is my fisher dwarf going fishing? No, they're storing an... Oh no, hang on, that's not... Where is my fisher dwarf? I can't see my fisher dwarf there. Can I look them up in... Oh, if I choose that and then creatures. Is that the same thing that I get if I click that? Yes, right. Fisher dwarf currently has no job. How about you go fishing? You're assigned to the fishing work detail. Maybe you're not allowed... Maybe I didn't actually designate anywhere as a place to go fishing and you're thus... not going to fish anything. All right, we have no empty barrels, which is why we can't... Well, I think we should actually make porcelain pots for storing things in rather than wooden barrels. So that means we need to build a kiln. Workshops, furnaces. Kiln, which can be built out of shale blocks. I did briefly think I saw a dwarf in the sea, but I think that was just my imagination. They're not actually a dwarf drowning. Doesn't look like any of them's drowning. Or drowned.
Can dwarves generally swim?
No. Especially not when we're like 3Z levels below the surface of the sea. Which appears to be where all the fish are.
I mean, you never know. They could have a...
I mean, they can learn to swim.
technology or something.
They can learn to swim, but most of them can't swim. Oops. So can I designate, like, go fishing at the edge of the sea? Tree chopping, plant gathering, wall smoothing. Is it a kind of highly specialised tree chopping? No. Like digging has all sorts of sub-options. Do we establish a fishing zone? Yes. We established a fishing zone. Our fisher dwarf went off to plant seeds. Oops. I appreciate that for many people WASD is like utterly obvious, but for me I keep getting it tangled up. Right, now we have a kiln. So is there, right, there is some coke in that. Quite a lot of coke, in fact, in there. So we could now add task, make large clay pot. Let's make 4 large clay, which I hope will mean porcelain pots. We don't want to take away the coal. We want to have a coal stockpile. In the middle of this room. No. New stockpile there, which will take specifically bars of coal. But which actually means coke. And then we want to remove those from this stockpile. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. That's bars. Other coal. Right. That should help. And now the coal is being stockpiled in a sensible place and not in a silly place. Things can be stored in bins there if we ever make any bins, which I think is something we do generally want to make out of wood. Aha! Our fisher dwarf is actually fishing. Hurrah! We'll probably now be swept off by the waves and drown. Oh, our fisher dwarf has caught an fish, I think. Hauling a raw nautilus. What is alarming me rather is this water coming like quite some distance. All right, that's an ocean wave which is like sweeping across the land there. I think that's how the water gets into this lagoon. Okay, you're not storing this in a very helpful place. And where did I put my fishery anyway? What's that message? Right, we've run out of lignite. That's not surprising. I didn't even realise we had any mined. But I established a fishery there for unprepared fish. But for some reason the fish has ended up stored here instead, which is very unhelpful. Let us adjust this because I think I've forgotten to turn off raw unprepared fish on it. Yes. No unprepared fish. That should get fixed now. Is there an auto prepare fish option? Automatic fish cleaning is on. Oh, there's an automate kitchen option. That didn't used to be there. Which is also on. So we might hope that that would mean that a fish cleaning job will automatically be generated. Oh, it's a pot, a veritable pot, large porcelain pot, which can be used for storing booze. We could, if we were feeling brave, then also attempt to glaze it for extra value, but like it's a pot, it's being used for storing booze, we don't really care. Porcelain works perfectly well unglazed. So I can't quite just select the porcelain pot there. But I can select it there. This is a large porcelain pot. Oh, we don't have anyone who can like value things, do we? We were trying to sort out an office here, weren't we? We can probably now install some furniture in it. And now we can brew drinks. Don't know what we'll brew it from, but let's find out. Right, so another thing we would quite like to be able to do is like to make some useful metals. So let's also add a repeating smelt hematite job. Also, we should probably make some bins. No, clear off. I'm not trying to deal with you yet. I should have soon, mind. Oh, the wrong button. Right. Carpenter's workshop. Make some more bins. I think we need bins. For like storing all that coke in. Right. Okay, now, aha, someone is preparing some fish, it looks like. We should stop storing food in this stockpile in general. Anything reasonably edible should not be stored here, I think. Oh no, but it's set to feed the other stockpile, isn't it? So it can act as a backup for it, which might be quite good. Right, and we've made some dwarven wine. Excellent. going to be a little while, but now we have a locally made large porcelain pot, which I thought was going to turn out to be full of wine. No, hang on, the wine is in the still, is it? All right, someone stuck that in a barrel, I see, right, yes. But surely that empty large porcelain pot could be filled with wine. What are you doing anyway? Not sure. Meanwhile, we have somewhere we could put an office for someone. So presumably those work like this now. We can make that the expedition leader's office, and then make the expedition leader also be, as is fairly traditional, our manager and broker and bookkeeper. And for all those jobs, they only need a meagre study, which they have. So that should now mean that we can appraise our stuff in due course. So the kiln is still making pots. It does require someone to lug kaolinite down here, which is a bit slow. So now we are also making some iron. So we should probably establish a forge down here. And then we can what's that doing there? Oh, that's that button, yes. Right, then we can possibly start making weaponry and such. There's an ordinary forge. Is an ordinary forge not a workshop? Not that one or that one or that one. I want a magma forge. I want an ordinary forge. I just press it, getting confused by these menus, which are one of the less obvious bits of this version of the game. Like those could usefully have labels on them. All right, that's where those things end up. Oops. But it doesn't seem to includes glass furnace. I think there may be things I can't see here in some way. obviously a kind of workshop. None of those is helpful. Then I have those categories, of which furnace then makes kiln visible, but not ordinary forge. I'm slightly confused. We're going to need to be able to make a forge. Let me have a quick look on the wiki. Hello wiki, sorry you lot can't see this, you can still just see my fortress in which nothing is happening because it's paused, I hope. Looks like it, yes. Type in. Okay, you've somehow managed to mess up loading that page. Got forge. Eve. So we can see if that will help us. If, of course, the Dwarf Fortress wiki is working properly. Right. Should be BOI. BOI. Ah, am I just being an idiot and I was confused by the fact that it begins metalsmith? Metalsmith, right, it doesn't actually use the word forge. Right, okay. No, I think that's an entirely forgivable mistake. Okay, I can't actually build it where I intended to because someone's gone and put a stockpile in the way. Let's put it there instead then. Which we made with our bestest anvil and some shale blocks. Right, we now know slightly better about how much food we've got because we actually have a bookkeeper. We should probably widen that section of the corridor a bit, shouldn't we? Oh, we need a trade depot, don't we? Since this is like not a hideously evil environment, oops, maybe we should just construct a trade depot on the surface. So, has my fisher dwarf drowned yet? No, hooray. Oh, annoyed after having to drink without using a goblet, cup or mug. Right. Surely there should be make a clay cup. One would assume that you could make like porcelain mugs to drink out of. I don't think jugs are the same thing. Let's make one anyway. Still waiting for someone to build our forge. I think actually we need something different for making I need more bins. Yes, things are starting to get stored elsewhere, merely because we've run out of space down here. Someone is actually, I think, making bins. Yes, okay, good. Bins are underway. Generally looks like a happy dwarf. Oh, we might not actually have enough bedrooms now, mightn't we? Mine more bedrooms. What do I want to do? No, that's not where we want that to go. M, T. That's the number of additional bedrooms we need, isn't it? Let's add an extra one just to be on the safe side. And then we need to add some extra corridors to get to them. Well, I mean, when I say corridors, I mean extensions of the dining room, really. And then we will mine out rooms around those and smooth them and put beds in them, make some beds, Ben. Probably now I can start actually doing this sort of thing through work orders because I probably have a manager. Yes. That's nice. We will pay some more attention to that in a bit, though not right now, I don't think. So now we have a bin there that is full of an inconvenient random selection of bars and blocks. Thank you. My miner is currently busy storing a thing. Oops. Right. Let's just look up cups in the wiki. See if that turns out to be useful. Aha, we have a bin down in this stockpile now, which will mean that all of that coke can be rapidly shoved into a bin, into bins. Right, we've still got plenty of bituminous coal to process. So let us think about weaponry and armour. Probably going to need some of it. We currently have 0 headwear There's weapons down here somewhere. So we have lots of axes. We actually are surprisingly well off for weapons. Okay, maybe I don't need to make any weapons at the moment. Maybe I mostly need to like organise some military. Right. We should thus appoint a militia commander. We have an engraver who's a proficient tactician. Okay, you're going to be our militia commander then. This is the squad menu. Here you can create squads, fill their positions, assign equipment and schedules, and give specific orders. Recommended that you prepare a squad. Right, okay. How do I... Oh, there we are. Create new squad. Let us have them default to metal armour, and we'll try and make some armour. Hang on, what did that do then? Oh, I think I didn't mean to delete it. That means I now have to create a new uniform. Well, let's set it to no uniform for now, and then I'll work out how to fix it. They are called the Cobalt Tongs, which will do. Let us... no one actually appears to have any useful abilities, at least not that we can see here. Let's give it a few random members and then we'll learn how to make it work. All right. So we don't currently have a uniform because some idiot went and deleted the metal armor uniform. But anyway, at least I can spell it correctly. Let's say everyone should just use their own choice of melee weapon and nothing else until we can find some confirm and save uniform, assign uniform, my new metal armor. Right. If we're lucky, that will then cause those guys some odd buttons around here and I don't yet know what they do. That gets us to there. So here's our schedule and they are mostly off duty. Right, so there's a staggered training schedule which you can use to have them sometimes train and sometimes not. Don't think we want to try to work that out. What I mostly want to do So now we're editing the off-duty routine. And we can arrange for that when they're off duty, they still carry their weapons, which is sensible. In general, like, you don't really want your dwarves, the moment you tell them to attack some monster, to rush around trying to find all their weapons and armour first. I mean, I'm sure there are circumstances under which that is a sensible thing to do, but so we have one relatively unhappy dwarf. What's going on with them? They're our new militia commander. I think it's mostly that they're new. Oh yes, I was looking up cups, wasn't I? We loaded that page yet. Goblets have no subtypes. Right, you can't actually make porcelain cups. That's just silly. Oh well. And they're presumably made at a craft workshop because they're crafts. Oh no, you can make them at a forge. Excellent, right. Let's make ourselves some copper and then make some copper goblets or something like that. We can make ourselves some bronze and forge some bronze goblets, in fact. Assuming we probably haven't got any cassiterite or tetrahedrite mined yet, have we? I mean, there's some tetrahedrite here. Let's set a mining order to mine out tetrahedrite. Assuming, of course, our miner has any spare time at all. Indeed wishes to do any mining. Come along. Why are you not doing any mining? You're a miner. Like, it's on your work detail and everything. We'll do available tasks anywhere. It was also a member of miners. Why is my miner not mining? Oh, my miner is mining. Good. I think I only had to ask the question and someone decided to answer it. Meanwhile, let's actually mark for mining out the new bedrooms. If I do that, I think it turns out to blank off the staircase, doesn't it? Rather annoyingly. Did I set us making some beds? I think I did. No, you weren't meant to dig that all the way through to the staircase. Curses. Right. Now I'm going to need to build a new wall to separate this bedroom from the staircase because I've designated the wrong section. Oh, of course, I still had follow seam selected. That's what went wrong. That's why they're marked in green. That's why we ended up digging into the staircase like an idiot. Right, thank you, Diziot. Now we just need to put some walls back in. Let's make some more shale blocks, probably. No. Oh, we've got plenty of gypsum blocks anyway. We'll. There we go. I'm still disappointed we can't make porcelain cups. Like, that's just silly. We don't yet have any copper bearing stones for making bronze. Or indeed copper, but bronze seems like it should be more fun. I'm sure our miner will get round to that eventually once they've stopped doing the things I accidentally told them to do. So they've got distracted by building that building now. That's fine. Probably a good idea to put those walls back. Oh, meanwhile, now we've got a newly sized dining room. We should actually officially resize the dining room. I really want it in multi-mode again. Well, it'll do. Oh, and that's the meeting hall. It wasn't the... Maybe I need to separate the meeting hall and the dining room just to avoid confusing myself. Yeah, I think I may need to do something about that meeting area just to make it less annoying. Right, yes, I think that was just someone... Oh, have I accidentally now made it impossible to get at that room? That wall should be buildable. That one might be a bit of a problem, but it'll be sorted once we... Oh, and the noise of Ben getting his key bindings confused again. Once that area gets dug out, we should be okay. Problem is just the miner keeps being busy. Maybe we should tell the miner to stop doing things that aren't mining. I mean, they'll finish off this job. Our hunter probably doesn't have a bedroom. No, we need to get some more bedrooms, which will be done once the miner has stopped mucking around smelting hematite. Or harvesting plants. Look, I just turned off all of your other tasks. Our miner is now digging again, which is good. Damn it! Dug through another wall. Where did I expect this room to go then? Given that weird staircase down there, I think I was just confused about everything in this room. I mean, someone's already asleep in it, which is a good start. Don't know quite what got cancelled. Possibly it was... Excellent, we struck with some more bituminous coal. Up here, right. While trying to mine out tetrahedrite. So now if I try to make bronze from ore, we need some cassiterite. Right, we had some cassiterite somewhere, but I keep forgetting where the cassiterite is. You have so many different iron ores. Right, tetrahedrite, cassiterite, right. Hang on, I was planning for there to be a bedroom there. Right, there's not going to be a bedroom there because I'm going to dig a corridor through it. That will probably intersect the cassiterite seam. Have another go at constructing that because I'm pretty sure it should be possible. Yes, there we go. We've managed to find some onyx here. Right, so I would still like to enlarge that room a bit. We could actually mark those bedrooms though, those ones are sensible. And we should also mark those for smoothing while we're in the area. Have we found that cassiterite vein yet? No. Right, and now we can mark that as another bedroom. And we can mark it, indeed, the entirety of that bedroom for smoothing as well. It looks like that, maybe that cassiterite vein goes off this way. Ah, it looks like it might, yes. So we could mine, auto mine that square. Let's switch that off again because otherwise I'm going to get confused. Now we've got some cassiterite, maybe we can actually make bronze directly from bronze ores, and then we can make some cups out of bronze. So meanwhile, let's try to make sense of so what do those symbols mean, do you think? All right, so that says he is set to individual choice melee. He has selected a copper battle axe. Everyone seems to have selected a copper battle axe. So why is that slash pling and that slash square root? So meanwhile, we're going to want some like actual armour, aren't we? So you could try forging an iron mail shirt and seeing what happens. Some of our population are very happy. You're probably not actually taking that cassiterite anywhere useful, are you? Also, it looks like that semi-mined wall square there can't be smoothed and is in a weird state. Let's mine it out and then brick it back up again. When our miner is next free. What's our miner up to at the moment? Maybe we need more miners. They're sleeping. Yeah, I suppose that's reasonable. Oops. Oh dear, that goat is hungry. We should fix that. Probably by going this here pasture. Assign our fresh goat to it. Why does that stray turkey gobbler end up one line below, eh? I think that's an error. So we don't yet have any breeding pairs of animals. The goats might be able to be useful in that respect, though. What's the fish situation? So we currently have 2 available nautiluses. You have 2 sets of meals, none of them recent. We have an awful lot of raw fish, which suggests that people are not adequately preparing fish. So that says to me, and we should be getting automatic fish preparation going on. Basically, if you've got any fish that need preparing, prepare it. I mean, possibly we want to schedule lots of them. Let's set it to 10. Prepare 10 raw fish. Yeah, I don't know. That might be reasonable. I think a manager has to think about that work order a bit before it'll actually happen. So someone is still nominally working on that task to assign a shirt, to make a shirt. There they are, having a go at it, our woodworker, because we haven't got anyone better. There's someone trying to make some bronze. What's our miner playing at? They're bored. Let's give us some more mining to do then. Auto mine. Bituminous coal up there. Does that mean there's a mail shirt in there? No. Oh. Is that an autosave happening? Presumably. Seems slightly odd in early autumn. Right, what was I doing? I was apparently losing where I am. That's up. Right, there we are. I did set a task to like make an iron mail shirt. Oh, well, it's probably been moved away, hasn't it? Let's look in the stocks. Stocks. Armour. Iron mail shirt. Excellent. So you can now say that do I want to I can select it there. Oops, that's messed everything up. It allows me to add a new uniform. How do I edit an existing uniform, I wonder? So what I want to say is I think we just made some bronze. We should probably have metal bars stored down here, shouldn't we? I mean, I think actually that's best done by just, saying metal bars should not be stored in the main stock, in the big stockpile. There we go. And then they can just be lugged straight from the smelter to the metalsmith's forge. Make some bronze goblets and see how those come out. We have a stock of coal. Let's just add a repeating task to make more. They've re-established their... So what do those things do? Those don't seem to be buttons. That gives me the entry for the person, which is not very helpful. If I say here, add a male shirt. Confirm and save uniform. Nope, that didn't actually save the uniform. Oh, I have 2 metal armour uniforms. Right, well that wasn't what I expected. So that's not how you edit a uniform. But at least we can create a new uniform. I reckon the green means is already has the item equipped, and the yellow means does not yet have the item equipped. No, that's not true because that's... All right, that axe is assigned by a work detail, whereas that axe is part of squad equipment. Okay. Right, meanwhile, let's make some more. Make another wall there. And let's assign a work order to make to forge iron mail shirt. No, we don't want 10 iron mail shirts, that would be extravagant. No, that's not the thing I wanted. Oops, what did that do? Right, that's the number of shops setting. This one is the how many do we want. And let's have another 4. So that should then automatically make some shirts for my dwarves. It's now autumn, so I'm hoping for a trade thing. Oops. No, I still find this keyboard set of movement keys terribly confusing. Like obviously less than and greater than are the right things for going up and down. So we have that. What's going on with that work order then? That says this work order is active. Is anyone actually preparing any raw fish? Certainly doesn't look like it. And there doesn't seem to be a job assigned to the fishery. There's a work order assigned, but no one actually seems to be like preparing any raw fish, even though there are two different ways that raw fish should be being prepared. Right, let's just check it. If I actually add a raw fish command, does that do anything useful? Not yet, no. So the iron mail shirts seem to be happening properly. What are the tasks that are part of fish at Orphery? Is just fishing and not fish cleaning. So fish cleaning is thus not assigned to any particular group of people. And everyone should do it. Oh, we're out of... needs unrotten raw fish in linked stockpile. Right, yes. And that stockpile's empty. Right, thank you. Maybe I should have looked at those messages before. Let us set this stockpile to not contain unprepared fish. Oh, actually, let's do a slightly silly thing and set the booze stockpile to also be allowed to contain if I can find it. I wanted goblets. Right, now the fish are being moved into the correct stockpile. And someone has been assigned to prepare them. Excellent. Right. Well, we like fish. We've got a source. We're by the sea. Obviously, our dwarves are going to be living on fish. Let's construct a craft horse workshop so we can carve things out of shells. Actually, let's have a work order that's keep us reasonably stocked up with blocks. I mean, I'm pleased to see that the squad organisation menu is still as bewildering as ever. Right, so those have both gone to green now, which is good. So that presumably means that that member is actually equipped with an Iron Mail shirt. Brief coating of tears, I think. What can I make out of shell then? I mean, technically we can make shell helms, but I think like we should probably make those out of iron instead. Oh, let's make a shell crown for the leader, the expedition leader to wear. I mean, it might be a bit extravagant, really. Although it is a grim reminder of the winter hardships to come, the supply caravan from the Orbs of Yore is a welcome sight. Their eyes are alight with anticipation of inspecting the splendid products of your industrious craft stores. We've craft sod all so far. Take careful stock of your own stores. What these merchants offer might very well be the difference between prosperous future and a slow and meaningless death. Okay. Where are the Queen Consort has arrived. Okay. That seems a little generous. Maybe she's also a trader. Give the merchants fish. Well, we might be able to. Here is our merchant caravan. Have they brought any wagons? Do wagons still exist in this version? Oops. They don't seem to have brought any wagons. I hope they've got like a decent amount of stuff. Oh, there's a colony of honeybees. Right, what is there that we should try to sell? I mean, we don't have much by way of constructions, things we've made at the moment. Possibly we should like make some things. Like our biggest value is a barrel of seeds. I mean, we've got some of our valuable things are also coal. We don't really want to export our coal. Those bronze goblets are worth something. Well, let's see what the traders have brought with them that we might want to buy, and then we can get some idea of what we want to sell. Let us ask our broker to come to the depot once he's finished conducting his meeting. Actually, let's wait for him to finish conducting the meeting first. Probably why the Queen Consort has turned up. Diplomacy. That was a gratuitous bit of shininess. The Queen Consort has come to talk to our expedition leader. I'm your liaison from the mountain homes. Added some information to my civilization menu. What do we want? I mean, we very rarely actually want anything. Like, I haven't noticed us being lacking in anything yet. Is that turning that on or off? I don't quite understand these controls. Well, let's just select steel bars and battle axes and see what that means. As I turned steel bars and battle axes on there, they've gone dark grey. All right, yes. This export agreement, they want goblets. Well, we know how to make goblets. Let's not sell them any of our goblets this year. If we can find anything else we want. They want. Right, so get my broker to come up to the depot. We have just made a near worthless Nautilus shell crown. Let's ask to bring that up to the trade depot just for having something to trade. Right, the item has been delivered, so now I should be able to click here and go trade, and we'll see what the trade interface looks like. This is kind of familiar. So now we mostly want to look through and see if there's actually anything we want from them that they've brought. They've brought a Bisek. They brought an earthenware Rimuk. So that's quite valuable. And a steel Dum, which is even more valuable. Probably best as the thing you can melt down. Oh, we should see whether a water buffalo bull or a llama or a male llama will be of any use to us. We don't have any dwarven ale either. Wow, that's a valuable bucket. These shields are best made of wood, aren't they? I should make some wood, make some shields. A bronze helm is probably worth buying if we can find something we want to buy it with. Can I get more information about these objects? Doesn't seem to be a way to say, please tell me more about this thing, like there was in Old Dwarf Fortress. Like, I suppose I know what's in those bags. It's what they officially have in what they're labelled as having in them. Cloth is often worth buying, because then you can like make clothes out of it and sell them back later. Right, so we're clearly going to need to bring more stuff. Oh, what's that button? No, that's search. So let's organise bringing... I mean, we could haul up some fish. That being something we've actually produced locally. Which is... Can I select fish for a slightly more... That allows me to bring up the fish unbarreled. But possibly doesn't include the fish in barrels. Don't know what that T means. So I noticed that even though we have spare male shirts around, they don't seem to be assigned here. If I bonk update equipment, does happiness occur? Aha, right. Why is trade not available? Oh, because my broker's gone off to eat. Just looking at the layout of things here. All the bedrooms are actually accessible. Good. But that turned out to be a very, very small cassiterite vein, which is inconvenient. That's Cinnabar, sadly, down there. I keep accidentally turning on this show water depth as numbers option. It's that one, isn't it? Yes, that's better. We have nothing to cook at the moment. Oh goodness, we've got more migrants. A kitten and a reindeer calf, and a traditionalist high-master glassmaker. Well, I mean, we've got sand. We can probably do glass making. Let's just mine out some more coal because we're going to need it. Goodness, what's going on with the fish? It's all full of herring. Entire damn school of herring in our lagoon today. You're catching us some herring. Oh, so which one's stockpile 8? We can't tell because it's not labelled as stockpile 8 anywhere. Let's try to trade that lot, value give or take 68, for something. All right, now the scrolling buttons work. We could try to trade it for a bronze short sword. That's like a price we can afford. And we're doing this more to show willing than anything else. Or a bronze helm. Perhaps we would consider, no. I'm not accepting your counter offer. Because that, right, we're going to need to bring some more stuff up here, I think. Maybe we're going to need to actually like make something worth having. We do appear to have a spare iron mail shirt. We could try selling that. But that seems a bit silly. Have they got any cheese or anything? Let's see if we can buy some fruit off them in return for some fish. And a Nautilus shell crown and a spare Nautilus. Yes, excellent. Right, well that's a good start. We managed to trade something. I mean, as I say, I don't know that there's very much we're lacking. This is more about showing willing than actually accomplishing anything. Like we might want to buy some ale, just for variety. Could do with some sand, but we can like collect our own sand. And yes, actually cloth is worth buying, isn't it? Though we don't need it yet. Because that's an awful lot of faff to make. All right, AE is a backpack. That's why that appears in the list of things that the... Yeah, I don't think we actually need to trade anything else, really. I mean, even though I've asked for something to be brought up here. And I think next year we're going to, I think we should just make all the bronze goblets and sell them at immense profit. Oh, we need more bedrooms. I mean, do I just go down another floor and build another layer of bedrooms below? Seems like a good enough plan to me. Actually, no, let's... No, turn off automated mining. We want perfectly straightforward mining. This obviously means that the dwarves on the lower level will only be able to get into their bedrooms by passing through the bedrooms on the level above. But as far as I know, dwarves don't actually mind that. Oops, that wasn't what I meant. That's a bit of a mess. That one's going to go in the centre, damn it. Oh, and that looks like I've accidentally tried to mine a staircase down through the expedition leader's desk, which is probably not going to work. What are you doing, expedition leader? You're running away before I can click on you. Well, that's probably wise. Oh, too many messages. Right, yes, we're apparently short of some stuff. More migrants have arrived. We've successfully prepared some raw fish. It's fine, there are still jobs to do there. Right, so things are progressing, but it is also quite late. So I am kind of observing what's going on here. We should also make some more beds. Let's set a bed order going. Oh, booze is running out. Well, I think that means I should go to bed, and we can sort out the booze situation later. Does look like we're a bit short of things to cook at the moment, but that's fine. The fish production system will sort that out. that's the wrong controls. Right, anyway, I think it is time that we stopped and we can come back to this on Friday and see if we can, well, at least get that drink situation up from 9 to a slightly more sensible number and work out how to sell prepared meals. So until then, save and return to title menu. Save to this timeline. And say good night. Well, once we save the world information anyway. Come along. You can do it. There we go. Good night.